Thank you for joining us today. Today, we will be speaking of the Back to Business in Poplar Grove Grant brought to you by the Village of Poplar Grove. The Back to Business in Poplar Grove Grant will provide economic support grants to small businesses that have been experiencing significant disruption or temporary closure attributable to the COVID-19 public health emergency. This grant is intended to support operating costs and needs such as payroll, rent, utilities, and replenishment of inventory. Other costs that arose as a result of economic losses experienced due to COVID-19 will also be considered on a case-by-case basis. Grants may not be used for severance pay, workforce bonuses, property taxes, other tax fees, or payments due to legal settlements, or expenditures that will be reimbursed through another federal program. The program is open to small businesses and nonprofits in the Village of Poplar Grove that have experienced economic distress and significant financial losses due to COVID-19. An eligible business will meet all of these criteria: be located in the Village of Poplar Grove, be incorporated, a partnership or sole proprietorship, be in business before January 1st of 2020, earn less than $2.5 million in revenue in 2019, document a significant negative business financial impact due to COVID-19, and be expected to be fully operational after local and state emergency guidelines have ended. A business is ineligible if it is a taxing body, is a municipality, is located outside the Village of Poplar Grove, was in business on or after January 1st, 2020, earned more than $2.5 million in 2019, has not seen a negative financial impact due to COVID-19, will not be fully operational after local and state emergency guidelines have ended, was awarded funds from the Business Interruption Grant, or BIG, or receives more than 33% of its revenue from gaming. The grant amounts will be as such. They will range anywhere from $1,000 to $25,000. Grant recipients will be awarded funds based on monthly operational expenses and losses of revenue throughout the pandemic. The grants will be geographically distributed based on the business's demographics and representation of minority and women-owned businesses. Preference will be given to businesses who have not received federal or state COVID-19 financial assistance, such as PPP, EIDL, or BIG. Applications for this grant will be accepted through December 28th, 2020, or as long as funding is available to the Village of Poplar Grove through the State of Illinois Cures Act grant. And also this is due by 5 p.m. on December 28th. Completed applications and required documents should be submitted to the Village of Poplar Grove at their Village Hall at 200 North Hill Street in Poplar Grove, or emailed to treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com, or the application may also be completed online. Before you begin, make sure that you have the following required documents. You will need the business's 2019 tax returns. Submit the business's tax returns. If you have yet to file for 2019, you may attach your 2018 tax returns and your year-end 2019 financial statement. If your business is less than 1 year old, please submit your recent financial statement. You will also need bank statements. Submit at least 2 bank statements from corresponding months in 2019 and 2020, showing the business or sole proprietor name and address. You may also, before sending, redact your account number and any personal information that you do not want disclosed. And also, just to clarify, for the 2 bank statements, again, we want to show a year-over-year impact. So please submit a like months from those years. So again, just more clarification, if you submit a July 2019 statement, also submit your July 2020 statement, just for an example. You must submit your proof of business using your active state business registration or local business registration or license. Also, you will be submitting the business owner or owner's identification, such as driver's license, state ID, passport. You will also be sending the village a completed W-9. Submit your most recent W-9 for that business. Also, you'll be showing the business property payments. So submit a copy of your business property's rental invoice or agreement showing all rental costs, or your monthly mortgage statement should you have a mortgage on this property. If you do not make payments on this property or you own the property outright, please submit and upload a document stating that you have no payments on this property. Finally, you will be sending through an explanation of business interruption. This allows you to upload or submit documentation showing the financial interruption to your business. And you can also upload any supporting document for that, any letters or narratives that would help with this process. Other items to know before you begin: make sure that you have your tax ID or employer ID number. If it is a sole proprietorship and you use your social security number, you may use that as well. Document how many years you've been in business. Know the amount of the grant that you want to request. The limit is $25,000. Submit a narrative on your business that shows the impact from COVID-19, either financially or otherwise. And we did talk about it a little bit in the required documents. That's where you'll upload that. Make sure that you know the number of full-time and part-time employees. We will want these separated out, not a total full-time equivalency or FTE, but specifically full-time and part-time. Also, as mentioned in the required documents, please know your mortgage or your rental amount per month, and this will exclude utilities. Also, you will want to make sure that you know which grants or funds you have received from local, state, or federal sources, if any. So how and where do you apply? So there are two different ways in which you can submit an application. The first one is online, and that here you will see over to the left. And this will take you through, and you can fill out all the information on this, upload all your documents, and it is automatically uploaded. The other option is to use a PDF, which you'll see right here on the right, and you can fill that in using the form fields, or you can print and handwrite. If you are going to be doing anything with the PDFs, you can either email them to treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com, or you can deliver them in person to Village Hall at 200 North Hill Street in Poplar Grove. The other option, if you're unable to get these applications online, you may contact the Village of Poplar Grove at 815-765-3201 and make arrangements to pick up a paper copy. So what we are going to do right now is we will take a look at the PDF form. And this is what that will look like. You can go through and answer these questions and then download it when you're complete. There is also an option at the bottom to submit application to treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com. And you can go ahead and when you download it, you can email it right to that email address. When you download it, email it to the email address. Okay. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to walk you through how to fill out the online application. This by far is the simplest process, but again, just make sure that you have all of your required documents before you begin. So this form right here, you'll go into sections. So every time you get down to the bottom, it'll have you go to next. And I'm just going to enlarge this a little bit so it's a little easier to see. So this right here will show you just some basics about the the application and the grant. And if you choose to not go through the process of filling it out online, then you can simply click on this link and it will take you back to the fillable form that you can print out or email. So back to here, this goes through all the information that we already went through in the presentation previous to this. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. This next page will talk to you about the required documents. So if you can't remember what those required documents are, you can simply click on that link and it will give you a list of the required documents. And again, make sure you have these somewhere where you can pull them easily off of your computer to upload them. Next, if you get to this part and at this part you decide, I want to fill out the PDF, simply click on this link. And finally, if you do complete those offline, make sure that you're sending it to the Poplar Grove Village Hall at 200 North Hill Street in Poplar Grove, or emailing it to treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com. Now we're going to get into the crux of the application. So this right here is your business located in the Village of Poplar Grove. If it's yes, go ahead and advance. If it's no, you're ineligible. So make sure we click yes on the sample one. Has your business experienced operating losses directly arising from COVID-19? If you have, then the answer is yes. If it's no, you're ineligible for this grant. Also remember, before going on through this part, if you have received any funding from the big grant, so the business interruption grant through the state of Illinois, you are not eligible for this grant as well. And also, if your revenue is more than 33% from gaming, you are not eligible for this grant. Next, we hit the next button. Next, we're going to go ahead and fill out your information. So the applicant's name is going to go here. And make sure that anytime you see a red asterisk, that is a required field. So should you not fill anything out and you try to hit next, anything that's required you have not filled out, it will show you that you need to go back and fill out. So I'm going to just go through here and put some information in. As we get down here to the primary business owner race, this is an optional field. If you choose not to answer, that is okay. But please remember that preference will be given to minority businesses. So make sure that you're clicking on these if you want to disclose that. Okay. So again, we're going to click on some of these to make it through. And then the next one is primary business owner gender. Again, this is not a required field. This is optional, but please feel free to fill this out should you choose. And we can hit next. Next will be the business information. And again, as you can see, we have the required fields on some of these. Some of you may have be operating as a DBA or doing business as. So if you do have a DBA, make sure that you're putting it here. It is not a required field. So if you do not have a DBA, you do not need to enter it. Next will be the tax ID or EIN number. And again, if you're a sole proprietorship using your social security number, that will go here. Next is the primary business address. This is the address of the location that is actually in the village of Poplar Grove. Should you have other locations outside of the village, that is fine. Just make sure that you are using the address for the village location. Next, you will put your industry type. how many years you've been in business, your revenue from 2019, how many full-time employees you have. Again, this is actual full-time employees, not your full-time equivalencies. And how many part-time employees you have. And the last question in this section is the amount you're requesting from the grant. Again, the cap is at $25,000. And next. Next will be your impact information. So let's start with the property ownership. Please choose which applies to you. Do you lease or rent, own with a mortgage, own without a mortgage, or other? And again, remember, required field. Monthly property payment. If you do not have a monthly property payment, you can put 0. COVID-19 assistance. This is asking if you've received any other funding for COVID-19 relief. Again, if you received any funding from the Business Interruption Grant Program, you are not eligible for the Back to Business and Poplar Grove Grant. These other ones do not necessarily mean ineligibility. And this is where we come into uploading our required documents. That form that we saw earlier that listed out the required documents, make sure you're looking at that. So we're going to go ahead and walk through this. So we have our 2019 business tax returns. Again, if you have not filed your 2019, make sure that you are submitting your financial statements. So as you can see right there, I just clicked add file. You may either have it on your Google Drive or you may have it just on your device. And from here, sorry, just be one moment. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we have our tax returns. And all we need to do is upload. And next are our bank statements. So again, you may redact your account number on these, and you again will want to have at least 2 statements showing year-over-year losses. So we're going to go ahead and we can actually choose 2 from here and go ahead and open. It'll put them both in. If you want to add more, simply click on add more files, and you may do so from here. And you can upload. Proof of business. Let's go ahead and we'll add that as well. And I'm purposely going to click on the wrong thing so I can show you how to get rid of it. So let's say that I went ahead and I accidentally uploaded the wrong file. Simply click on the X, go in, and find the one that you meant to upload. Next, we have our business owner identification. If there is more than one business owner, please submit IDs for all business owners. Completed W-9. Again, this will be your most recent W-9. Your business property payments. This is going to be, again, without utilities. If they're on there, that's okay too. We can make it through those. But this is going to be proof of your monthly payment. So again, let's say that you own it without a mortgage. Simply upload just a simple Word document just stating that you do not have a payment on this property. And then finally, your explanation of business interruption. So make sure that you're sending in plenty of documentations, letters, narratives showing proof or describing the interruption to your business. and with great emphasis on the financial loss component. Okay, and we're going to simply go ahead and upload that. And as you can see, all of these are filled in. Again, if you missed one and it was required, it will make you go back in and fill that out before you can go to next. This next page is going to be your certification, and I will let you, when you go through the process, you can go ahead and read it. But basically it's saying that everything that you have said is true and accurate, and that you may be asked to submit further information. And by providing your name below, you agree to the aforementioned applicant certification. And you also understand that you may be asked to sign something in the future. Should your Back to Business and Poplar Grove Grant application be approved, you'll be asked to read and sign an agreement for funds received. To view a sample of the agreement, you can simply click on this link here, and it will show you a sample agreement for the Village of Poplar Grove Grant. And next. This will take you to the last page and the last section of the application. This is reminding you that it will be 2 business days, and you'll receive a verification of receipt of this application. This will come from Growth Dimensions Economic Development as our partner. Should you have any questions about the submission of your application, you may contact the Village of Poplar Grove Treasurer Karina Boyd at 815-765-3201, or email treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com. And then we will simply submit. And this will take us to a page where we can either go back and edit our responses or fill out a new response, as you can see here. Okay, and that is it for filling out the application. So just some assistance. Again, if you need assistance with this application, general grant and application questions can go to Karina Boyd or any representative at the Village of Poplar Grove, and they're at 815-765-3201, or you can email treasurer@villageofpoplargrove.com. Growth Dimensions can also provide grant and application technical and submission questions, and they can be reached at 815-547-4252, or you may email them at info@growthdimensions.org. We want to thank you for joining us today and wish you luck in your application process. Thank you.